Just spending 7 years in the Fieldhouse, and this Fever offense has been swings. Clark on a step back.
They have size at every position.
Last time these two teams matched up, it was away with the win. That was back in... This is Odyssey Sims.
Clark especially was blitzed a handful of times, and it's been
Tia Jackson averaging 13 points per
break, and you can't let Kelsey Mitchell get going.
She's pulling away a big lead. Pass. Mitchell lost the handle underneath. Going to work on Stevens, and here is Stevens, who will launch.
Most teams,
Indiana with the defense. Lexi Hull going.
Not enough changes for this career.
Here's Mitchell putting on the move. Hamby goes back to work, and the scoop. Clark, step back. Here is Hamby, who will fire from 3.
Did all the hard stuff.
And win Rookie of the Month and Player of MVP. Here is Nalissa Smith, fire away. Just 11th in the WNBA. A week ago today, they... Here, Cameron Brink, dual awards. The coaching...
Is New York, the top team in the league.
Kelsey Mitchell was equally, if not more, just... Hamby just puts her head down. Smith gets inside and draws the foul. Kelsey, thank you and for the franchise.
No question. You said 4, maybe 3. Fever in the 6th spot in the play.
Odyssey Sims finds some hesitation. Clark gets inside. Here's Hamby fighting through traffic, flips it up. Here is Stevens on the roll. Mitchell, hand off Boston and bounce.
One of the not talked about.
Mitchell, catch and shoot, whistle there.
Since the break, 100. It's amazing.
Mitchell leads all scorers with 7.
Mitchell doing a really good job fronting Rikia Jackson.
Indiana times. Here's
Legal post who can run off screen.
Backdoor pass finds Kia Nurse. The Fever turnover, so it hasn't hurt them. Jackson, nice foot comes. Boston flips her shoulder, and it's an off. Ray Burrell, who's just checked. Clark stepping back on the baseline.
To her game as well.
Burrell attacking the baseline.
Indiana has not a low-scoring first quarter.
Shots because of that turnover.
Relax just a tad. You're playing.
Clark will launch up.
Yeah, Connor McCaffrey sitting there next.
The good fortune here if you are a fan and both playing in this building.
You can say that about the Indiana Fever.
And here in May, Clark 5 highest scoring game, had more than that in a season.
To spend on all the numbers.
On the bounce, Dantas charging inside baseline. There's Burrell through players.
Smith and Dante.
And there's Nurse stepping back, launching, and she was here. She hit 5 threes. Smith denial, but on a second.
Any fast break opportunities.
Nurse stepping back and
wrap it quickly. You got to move the ball.
9th in the WNBA, so it's a little below.
2 turnover margin, a +2.
On the moves, Clark.
17 points a game.
On Kelsey Mitchell as she steps into a 2. Right there with Ray Burrell and Kia Nurse.
To help Indiana.
Dantas over a double. Sims on the drive, draws the foul. Put together a fine evening, 10 points.
Is their average. To execute in the quarter court. And now Indiana can get you with some mismatches.
Still trying to get this Indiana offense kick-started.
He's on the season.
And
home of the Imps. Same place as me.
Clark, good feed into Boston. Here's Azare again. Oh,
D.
And a Boston on the other end. Okay. Knocked down.
And executive of the year in this league. There's fast and then a play offensively.
Well, worth noting that at least sometimes it does. It's at Vegas a couple of times. And they've got some impressive.
W is part of the reason why.
Just 3 threes all after.
Go to LA's practice W because they work.
Here's Burrell fighting inside. It's in a backdoor cut. It's Mitchell.
Dribble right at Mitchell's defender and let. What a tremendous.
Like 5 minutes here in the first half. Just 3 total points since the minutes. We haven't seen Christy Wallace.
She's coming off the bench again. Of course, De'Erica Hamby, you know, she had
NBA level this year. Here is Hamby.
Still in the same sentence.
Jackson trying to create, driving on Samuels.
On this team, number 2 pick in the draft. And Cameron, we're sending our best to you. Because she wanted to be here, and for Rikia, it's like you're going to be an all-star.
No question, and that's what advantage on Wheeler and Jackson.
She's an incredible athlete. You're a rookie, that's impressive.
Oh, Clark
try to get her going. Looks like they're going to their horn.
Sims into hole. Angel on the drive, turns the corner and gets to the
over the thigh pads.
We've seen that speed be such a break. Smith going one-on-one.
Passers out of that play.
Here's Stevens. Stevens will try it again.
Aaliyah Boston getting away.
She's finding some room to work down there on a regular roster deal. Seals, but not a full-time gig. She's able to shovel it there to Stevens. Full team, it frees up Boston. Inbound, I think. And I had my mind on the gridiron.
Penalty on the official.
Here in the second half. Amby with a crossover, driving into Smith, leads Clark. Clark crossing over, and races. Sims giving chase. She from Caitlin Clark as Jackson throws up, bounces for Boston. Here is Hamby on the other end, spinning.
Somebody back. We were on the same side. Look at Boston.
Tactician. It's always a chess match.
A timeout or a substitution.
Sims to switch on to Boston, driving on Boston.
Hill gets you in isolation. Looked up in Dallas.
On the drive, Clark hangs and banks it home.
Can't stop her.
Jackson turning on, trying to establish lead. Gonna have to hoist from way outside.
Especially from your defense.
Sitting on 16 points here so far. Here is Clark launching.
This mismatch for Azurá Stevens. It's too much space to snake behind. You put a lot of pressure.
Drops it for Smith. Haven't been able to shake the sparks. Wheeler giving chase. Jackson on the Jets. Wheeler going coast to coast. But when you talk about Erica Wheeler, and base decision for Christie Sides. Extra pass. It's Wheeler. Indiana back up 5, and Clark trying to answer. You bet. Break out of that here as Sims on the drop.
They like to run for Kelsey Mitchell.
Nurse weaving her way inside, and
try to force some slippage. But
Boston back for Clark. Flips it over to Burrell, who's open. There for the Sparks to close out the third. To watch the fourth quarter of action. Time to do here to try to nail down minutes here today.
Action.
Dantas fading, firing.
Direction's tough to guard. What a take by
driving on Burrell, hangs and
guarded by Mitchell and Clark.
And Sparks have just not gone away. They've Boston spinning inside.
Game. Nobody in the league runs.
Clark lobbing inside. Oh, difficult.
And Clark have done the bulk of the swings, and her ability to run the floor, play.
Fever hit with a moving screw. Frustration there from Clark.
First 10 seconds of the shot.
Step back. Hits a Clark going behind the back. Oh, it's here tonight. And that Stewart's for the most ever.
Let me correct myself.
Will she get it off in time? Just does. Mitchell pulling up. Hand here trying to secure their 18th win of the two strong. Stevens with the rebound.
Lexi Hall does not need the fantastic.
Free on the CBS Sports app or at couple free throws for Azurá Stevens. Clark feeding a little behind with the rebound. Oh, pretty spin. Christie Sides really. Burrell catch and shoot. Whoa.
Shooter open.
Mitchell, that's a deep defensive end. And they lost Hamby. Here as a pro comes in your 10th season, averaging 18 points per game. That's a
remarkable run by them.
Mitchell hoists and had it.
10th assist.
Gets reinforcements. In American. And Hamby right into Smith. Maybe got away with. Smith lost the handle. Shot clock down to Smith. Right move. Floats it up. Get De'Erica Hamby. You're not battling like this.
De'Erica.
Hamby's had a nice second half on the drive. Smith lays it in. Getting going here in the fourth quarter. Sims on the floor right now. But Clark lets it fry. 5 in a row. Their direction. I think Clark and Mitchell 11 assists and 12 rebounds.
Close out games, right? And they can get a stop.
Burrell catching. He thought about the three and traveled. Way in, backing in on Stevens. Didn't get called for that.
I mean, look, that's a really good ATO by Indiana.
Of the season, and that tops. And a big Burrell cut off there by Boston inside.
The Fever. That's the kind of defense that Christie's.
Nurse drives inside. Sims picks her pockets and
Cell official that doesn't have space to see.
Has the ball under 2 minutes to go, trying to go Fieldhouse. Fever will take it herself on the drive.
Their tendency for the Fever is Kelsey.
Here's a Boston three. Nurse is left open. She like it. Boston. Mitchell.
Outstanding.
Big break. Have we called her name?
17 for 25. WNBA in assists.
Work to do here. 55 seconds. Nurse off the screen, bouncing for Hamby. Two
Foul here. I like the strategy. Play deep.
Three, drives her way inside. Muscles to
Good time and score recognition. Right. This play's taking too long, I think.
Not surprising. And it's up. It won't.
Mitchell's going, what happened?
They're 18 and 16. So 9 points, 7 assists here so far. Clark crossing over. And with a steal. Clark off to the races. Sims giving chase. A little 5-0 burst from Caitlin Clark as Jackson throws up a... Clark off the screen. Bounces for Boston. Bounds. Here is Hamby on the other end, spinning.
To look like you're not working. Is it somebody back? You were
fine.
Caitlin Clark on the same side. Look at Boston.
He's such a master tactician. It's always a chess match.
Change the rhythm of the game. Sometimes it's a timeout or a substitution. Can't play the same all the time.
Sims to switch on to Boston, driving on Boston.
So they're very much a downhill, gets you in isolation. Look to she averaged 17 points on a hardship in Dallas.
Sparks. Clark being watched by Nurse. Clark on the drive. Clark hangs and banks it home.
Defender. Really can't stop her.
Jackson turning on. Trying to establish lead. Shot clock down to 5. Sims gonna have to hoist from way outside.
Is what you're hoping for right there, especially from your defense.
Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, each sitting on 16 points here so far. Mitchell the switch on to Lee. Here is Clark launching.
She snakes behind it, and then she creates this mismatch for Azurá Stevens. When there's that much space to snake behind, you put a lot of pressure.
Mitchell putting on the moves. Mitchell on the drive, drops it for Smith. Shooting over 50% from the floor. Haven't been able to shake the Sparks. Inside for Jackson, poked away by Mitchell. Wheeler giving chase. Jackson. Now it's Wheeler turning on the Jets. Wheeler going coast to coast. Lesser minutes with Caitlin Clark now in the mix. But when you talk about Erica Wheeler, and we go. Kind of a matchup-based decision for Christie Sides. On the drive, behind the back to Boston. Extra pass. It's Wheeler. Giving up good looks for great looks. Indiana back up 5 and
8 triples.
Clark trying to answer. You out of it, but we are starting to break out of that here as Sims on the drive.
Triple of the season.
The night is almost what you expect from her.
Off that Iverson action, that's an action they like to run for Kelsey Mitchell.
Nurse weaving her way inside and
be there in the last couple of possessions, try to force some slippage, but confident level to finish off the season.
Boston back for Clark. Clark's hit 3 of them. Sims whips it over to Burrell, who's open. A couple really nice defensive possessions there for the Sparks to close out the third. Indianapolis on hand to watch the 4th quarter of action. Indiana, a lot of work to do here to try to nail down. Wheeler getting some extra minutes here today.
Has been better in their court action.
Dantas fading fire. Weaver haven't gotten a good look.
Oh, that scissor action's tough to guard. What a take by
To split the double. Clark driving on Burrell, hangs and can't.
Giroux is being guarded by Mitchell and Clark.
And Sparks have just not gone away. They've out of sync at times. Boston spinning inside.
Such a good two-man game. Nobody in the league runs.
Clark lobbing inside. Oh, difficult.
Put the points up because Mitchell and Clark have done the bulk of the diminish the value that Aaliyah Boston brings and her ability to run the floor, play well out of that high post area.
Beaver hit with a moving screw in the backcourt. A little frustration there from Clark.
It's been good in the first 10 seconds of the shot because she can get a bucket on anybody.
Clark, step back, hits a here comes Clark going the other way. Clark going behind the back. Oh, it's a couple of signature moments here tonight. And that's which ties Breanna Stewart for the most ever of her recent games.
Let me correct myself.
With a shot clock down to 2. Nurse, will she get it off in time? Just does.
The way she creates separation.
Mitchell pulling up. Fever have far more important things at hand here, trying to secure their 18th win of the Hamby. Rolling, runs into hole, shot too strong. Stevens with the rebound.
Lexi Hall does not need to seen that since the Olympic break. She's been fantastic.
Omaha, you will be able to find it streaming free on the CBS Sports app or at this one. Couple free throws for Azure Stevens, who have won 9 of their last 10 in this building. Clark feeding a little behind, connect on that 3. Smith with the rebound. Oh, pretty spin.
Indiana.
Christie Sides really we need of her. Burrell catch and shoot. Whoa.
This Indiana overhelps and leaves the three-point shooter open.
Mitchell, that's a deep 2. Weaver Needham stops on the defensive end, and they lost Hamby. Not often your best year as a pro comes in your 10th season. 30-year-old De'Erica Hamby, averaging 18 points per game. That's a...
And ended up getting in the medal round. It was really a remarkable run by them.
Possession there for Indiana. Shot clock down to 3. Mitchell hoists and had it.
Caitlin's looking for her 10th assist.
Gets reinforcements. Chance at a 10th assist. Fortunately, in American.
You're getting the ball to the right place.
And 22 points. Burrell bouncing here for Hamby. Right into Smith. Maybe got away with points here tonight. Smith lost the handle. Shot clock down to Smith. Hamby attacking Boston. Spin move. Floats it up. Gets. Maybe if you don't have a De'Erica Hamby, you're not battling like this.
Here's here. And De'Erica's teammates.
Hamby's had a nice second half. Clark, Boston. Here is Smith on the drive. Smith lays it in. Smith getting going here in the 4th quarter. Sims on young group here. Now, a lot of veterans on the floor right now. Clark the switch on to Talbot. Clark lets it fly. Fever looking for win number 5 in a row. Could have gone, Kelsey, thank you, either direction. I think Clark and Mitchell combined for 40 points, 11 assists, and 12 rebounds.
Indiana has relied on their defense to close out games, right? And they situation in the game right here. Let's see what they can get a stop.
Burrell catching when they needed it. Talbot back up top. Hamby thought about the 3 and traveled. And Mitchell there for a moment and said she'll back her way in. Backing in on Stevens. Around earlier in the play. Didn't get called for that.
I mean, look. That's a really good ATO by Indiana.
Boston with their 12th double-double of the season, and that tops. And a big. Burrell cut off there by Boston inside.
Action contested by the Fever. That's the kind of defense that Christie's
for LA. Nurse drives inside, down shy, but that time turns it over. Sims picks her pockets, and
whistle comes from the trail official that doesn't have space to see.
What a major swing here as Indiana has the ball under 2 minutes to go, trying to go. Remaining here from Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Fever. Mitchell will take it herself on the drive.
Line out of bounds. Their tendency for the Fever is Kelsey.
Mitchell whips it back. Here's a Boston 3. Cross court, Nurse is left open. Mitchell, shot clock down to 5, doesn't like it. Boston, Mitchell.
She has been outstanding.
How often here out of the Olympic break have we called her name? Shot.
I mean, she's been 17 for 25. Clark just continues to lead the WNBA in assists.
Still some work to do here. 55 seconds. Nurse off the screen, bouncing for Hamby.
Kurt Miller electing not to foul here. I like the strategy. Play deep.
Boston, shot clock down to 3. Drives her way inside. Muscles.
So good time and score recognition. She's been close a couple of times, right? This play's taking too long, I think.
WNBA. Not surprising. Management of the ball, no huddle.
In play.
It's up. It won't.
Kelsey Mitchell's going, what happened?
They're 18 and 16.